Hello, it's Annie Oakley back here with you today. Hope you're all having a great day and doing well. Today we're just going to talk about trimming the fat. In other words, stop buying stuff you don't need. I don't know if you can see all the purses on the table and the caps and everything. Just stuff that's laying in a tote that nobody's using. Cologne that's been bought that's just been sitting around. And it's like, what's the point? People get all kinds of TV subscriptions and they forget about them and don't use them. And they just keep paying for them year after year. And it all adds up. So if you can get rid of some of those, you can save yourself quite a bit of money. And then perhaps you can get some real money. Another thing to think about doing is when you go to the store, if it's not busy when you're checking out, this is what I do. I'll go up to the cashier and chit-chatter a little bit, and I'll go, "You're sure lucky." And she goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And I'm like, "You've got a whole drawer of change here that you can look through, and maybe you'll find silver or something like that, like a old worn nickel, a 40%, a 90%. And I just explained to them, and many of them have been very grateful. I thought that was pretty cool. I said, you can buy it out of your cash drawer. If you find a quarter, exchange a quarter out of your wallet for that silver quarter there. You just made yourself some pretty good money. Also, something else I like to do, and I don't do it all the time, but once in a while, is like I'll leave somebody a silver tip. When I went to my coin shop, I left a couple of the workers there a Morgan dollar, which they loved it. They so appreciated that. So think about those things. It's a great way to educate people and also help yourself. If you have stuff around home that you don't use anymore, consider selling it. There's so many places on eBay. If you live in a town or a city, it seems to me like that'd be pretty easy to do. Just unload some stuff and you'll have some cash. Maybe you need to pay some bills, or you want to go out and buy some silver before it gets completely unobtainium. Now, the other day, one of my kids said, "Mom, you're always talking about spot price or futures price. What's that mean?" And I said, spot price is the market value right now. The futures is a predetermined number. And to me, it's a paper exchange. That's what it is paper. So they kind of appreciated that. I'm trying to educate as many people as I can about silver and maybe gold. The cost of all of the dollars, the silver dollars, the half dollars, the dimes, the nickels, they have went up considerably. The 35% war nickel today is, if the silver value is $2.82. A 40% half dollar today, the silver value is $7.40. An American silver eagle is $50.03. A dime, a simple dime, is $3.62. And if you look back over the last few months, it's like every week it goes up, it goes up, it goes up. A quarter is worth $9.05 as silver value. My favorite, the Benjamins and JFK half dollars, they're $18.10. And like if you stack a bunch of those, that adds up pretty quick. And people are concerned because we're nearing Thanksgiving, Christmas. What am I going to do for my kids, for my grandkids? And I know little kids want toys, and that's cool. But, silver quarter might be pretty cool too. So that's just something to think about. We're all hearing that the LBMA is empty and that they are scurrying in a big way to try to get silver so they can fill their orders. So, and they're saying that there is a silver squeeze globally. And I don't know. I do believe they want the minnows like me to rush in and dump my 90% because it's so awful, according to some people. Even though it's real money, it's been around for a long time, so they can turn and burn that, or, your 999 plus fine. Same thing. So you can sell it to a central bank and you'll be sitting there with nothing. Something else, and on the heels of that is they're saying the refiners now, they can't meet the demand, and they're calling them the choke point. So a lot of the refiners have closed their doors for the time being. Who knows how long it'll last? Who knows how long it will take the riggers to go to plan B or C? I don't know. Another thing to consider is in our schools, why do we not teach kids about precious metals, about really having real money? I mean, I never heard about it when I was in school. Nothing about silver, nothing about gold, nothing about, why don't you hang on to some of those things? And they're still not doing it today. In China and India, you'd probably get thrown out of the country if you didn't stack some silver and gold. And granted, they do some of it in jewelry. But I heard a little story about from Carol Roth. She she's saying, and I looked this up too, Chinese and Indian households collectively have 30,000 metric tons of gold. The average American has none. And America as a whole, we have 8,133 tons of gold in America. And here we are. The dollar's dying. They've printed so much, it's devalued the dollar so much. And now they want us to get on the CBDC Ponzi scheme. Backed by what? I mean, they say it's backed by gold. And they also say that 8,133 tons of gold in America, that's the people's gold. Have they called you up and given you your share? Me neither. Carol Roth, who is an investment banker, says she believes about 10% of Americans know a little bit about gold. I don't, that seems like quite a bit to me. So, I don't know. I think it's important that we teach our families better, do a better job. And I think that's about what was on my mind for now. Other than to say, keep stacking that silver. And if you're trying to trim the fat at your house, maybe get rid of some of those useless subscriptions that you forgot you had, or that you don't have time to watch them. When I worked at the hospital, we worked 12-hour shifts, 5 or 6 days in a row, and then we had usually 4 or 5 days in a row off, which sounds great, but when you work the graveyard shift, nobody's around hanging out at 3 a.m. But one of my girlfriends and I used to ride our Harleys around town, and then we'd go home and get ready to go to work, and I'd catch myself sitting on Facebook, and before I knew it, I'd burned an hour. So I got off of Facebook for about a week, and then I just couldn't take it anymore, and I got back on it. And it was the same thing. And I got off, and that was probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 years ago. And I haven't missed it since at all. So that's just my opinion. I like social media as much as the next person, but I think we all burn too much time. And I know stackers and the central bankers and the whales, everybody's kind of freaking out about what the silver market's going to do. None of us know. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'd say keep stacking, and always be careful before you get rid of somebody's stuff, because you never know what's going to be in it. So, whoops. Be careful. And I'm going to end it on this and go find that dime that flew off of here. Would you rather have this, or would you rather have that? Something to think about. Trim the fat, keep stacking. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all. Talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe.